Wrist pain is probably one of the most confusing and scary things to experience for gamers who aim train. And over the past year, so many gamers and pros have reached out to us because of pain in either of these regions that have been preventing them from playing or making progress with their aim. So in this video, we're going to talk about two most common pain patterns in aim training and what you need to do to prevent it or manage it if you have it. And if you haven't already checked out my healthy aim training video, I would check that out first because it covers a lot on the prevention side. But let's rewind a bit. Earlier this year, before VCT Challenger season, Dapr from OXG reached out to me since he was dealing with pinky-sided wrist pain. During the evaluation, we found he had just started an aim training program which involved microcorrections, and he had to do this over the span of 2 weeks. And that led to the development of wrist pain, especially during some longer sessions with aim training itself. So with this, I asked our team and dug in a bit more to see how many cases we actually saw over the past few years. And it turns out quite a few. And what we found was that there were two major pain patterns that existed as a result of the specific demands associated with aim training. One, of course, was pinky-sided wrist pain, and I alluded to some of the physiology for why this might happen in a previous video, but to provide an overview, there are two muscles that are primarily responsible for flicking to the right, with one very small muscle that might help, while there are 6 muscles that are responsible for flicking to the left. 3 of those muscles are the extrinsic thumb muscles, which help to a larger degree than the small muscle for flicking to the right. This in itself means 2 muscles are primarily responsible for the stress associated with all flicks, tracking, microcorrection that occur on the right side. Additionally, our fiber distribution does not help us, as there's some evidence that there are less slow twitch fibers in the ulnar-sided muscle, FCU specifically, which means that it'll fatigue more quickly. And you combine that with the high actions per minute from aim training, especially higher intensity scenarios, and it leads to tendon irritation and everything that holds you back from being a crisp aimer. If this is the muscle involved, then this is the muscle you guys should be focusing on to build endurance. And I'll get to that in a bit, because while this is the #1 most common injury, the second one involves... This is a representation of the wrist and hand activity associated with aim training. As you can see here on the graphs, the FCU muscles are being utilized, but there does seem to be another group of muscles that is being utilized a lot, and these are the flexor muscles, more specifically the FDS and FDP, and they represent the muscle group responsible for flexing the fingers and maintaining the grip on the mouse, especially if you have fingertip pressure on the side of the mouse. So lots of stress on the tissues that we need to have endurance to be able to handle. So how can you actually build your endurance? If you thought exercises, then you are absolutely right. We have to perform specific exercises to target these muscles. And I'm going to go over a few you need to do right now. The first exercise is dumbbell wrist flexion, and these target the palm-sided wrist and hand musculature. This exercise is going to be helping you prevent or manage some of that palm-sided wrist pain. You want to start with 2 sets of 12 to 15 and gradually work up the repetitions because we're looking to build up your endurance. Then you can add another set from there. You can also perform this at a specific cadence of 3 seconds up, 3 seconds down. That will help to better activate that brain to muscle and tendon connection. Next up is dumbbell ulnar deviation, and while the previous exercise does also target the FCU, one of the key ulnar deviators, this one specifically isolates both flexion and extension side. Hold the dumbbell at the front end, or if you can find something that's longer in length, like a hammer or one of those Indian clubs, that allows you to really focus on strengthening those ulnar deviators as well because of the longer lever arm. These are some stretches that you guys can utilize between your games or after your session to allow for some recovery or your HP to recover. So this targets those extensors, the top side of your forearm and hand, as I'm showing over here. Then we have the wrist flexor stretch, which targets these specific muscles on the palm side of the forearm and that specific FCU muscle, along with the FDS and FDP that are utilized or irritated with palm-sided wrist pain. Okay, so you've built up your HP to 10K, but you still get pain? Yeah, that's because you can't just focus on endurance. You have to realize that how much you play with high intensity game modes can still drain your HP to 0 if you don't take breaks. So as I mentioned in my other video, you want to start slow. You want to see how you respond after shorter sessions of aim training before progressing to a full 45 or 60 minute program. And if you've noticed you haven't been able to aim train, play games, or even use your phone without pain recently, and are struggling to find something that will actually be helpful for you, then I want to urge you to check out the Wrist Pain Troubleshooter. The Wrist Pain Troubleshooter is the first wrist pain tool for gamers and desk workers who want to resolve their wrist pain completely and do it without taking a break from gaming, surgery, useless exercises, or even taking the time to head to a doctor's office. It takes our 8+ years working in esports and our experience helping 2,500 plus gamers with their wrist pain to automatically deliver a program specific to your areas of weakness that will help you improve your aim and manage any current issues you might be having. And it's not a magic bullet that will instantly get you back to gaming without pain, but it's truly the next best thing to it. And it's because we've made it as easy as possible to follow, and you really have no risk. Since we do have a triple guarantee, if you aren't happy for any reason, not happy with the progress in 30 days, don't find it helpful or informative, or you just don't like me, I'll give you all your money back. And you can get it here or check out the link in the description. Okay, if you thought this was helpful, please drop a comment below or share this with someone. And definitely check out the guide I created about how you can stay healthy as an aim trainer to really make sure you cover all your bases to avoid these common problems.